Hello, and thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of All Things Manchester. My name is Tom Topping. I'll be your host. And in the studio today, I've got Dave and Joe running the booth. My guests today are from the Department of Recreation. I'm sitting next to Kathy McGuire, a supervisor, and next to Kathy is a person I've gotten to know quite well over the last few years, Chris Silver. He's the director of the department. Kathy, Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'd like to start with you, Kathy. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been with the department, your area of responsibilities.
Great. Well, thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure,
This is a
man.
wonderful opportunity for us. I have worked full-time with the town in this position for 26 years. I did start part-time when I was very young, 16 years old. So like Chris, we've come up and done summer camps together and lifeguarding and worked in recreation centers, and really never thought I could do this as a job or career, you know, when I was a young girl thinking about what you might do for a living. And I'm grateful that I got dialed into it young, and I realized that providing leisure services and, you know, municipal recreation to folks is an excellent way to spend your time. Helping people enjoy their leisure pursuits, and we get to plan the fun and exciting opportunities for folks in their daily living. So I started that young and then ended up with a full-time job here. I did go to Vernon for a little while. I also worked for the Youth Service Bureau for a little while, but I've been here for 26 years. Yeah.
Thank you, Kathy. It's a pleasure to run into you again.
Yeah.
Chris, you were in the first part of the show, but if you wouldn't mind giving us a brief synopsis of your function and what you'd like the people to know about you.
Not much. I'm the director for the Department of Leisure, Family, and Recreation. And I've been working for the department since 1985 part-time. I've been full-time in this particular role for 10 years, and I've come up through the ranks as a supervisor and an assistant director, and over to Neighborhoods and Families once we finished our Children, Youth, and Family Master Plan to sort of build that new agency within the town. And when I came into this position, we took that with us, and we still oversee the Neighborhoods and Families Division and rolled it right into what we do because it fits perfectly.
Well, I'd like to thank you both and welcome you both to the show, and we're going to get right into it. Kathy,
Let's go.
I live on the east side, so we're going to go right there because, first of all, I drive a Ford F-250, and every time I go over a bump on Spruce Street...
Well, it's meant to slow you down.
I know.
Slow down.
So would you tell me why you put those bumps in the middle of my road home?
Well, it was for you specifically. We had several reports that
Look at the
a
big red
Ford
truck.
F-150
Okay, I
was
get
going
it.
too fast. But no, this has been an exciting project. I think everyone's really happy to see this East Side project come to fruition. A lot of years in the making, a lot of people involved, not just our department, but from engineering and public works perspective. But really, it started with engagement with the community. So we had several sessions with them where we brought neighborhood residents together, specifically East Side residents. Hey, what do you think? We're looking to do some renovations down here. You know, we're selling the school. What do you want to see in your neighborhood? You know, it was a really good back and forth. You know, there was talks about having a pavilion with an amphitheater, and they were like, hey, not in our neighborhood. Okay, let's revamp it and see what we can do next. So with a lot of community input, we came up with the final design that you see now down there, which is an amazing renovation to that section of the neighborhood. We did a plaza rebuild. It's got a beautiful water feature. It has areas to sit in the shade and reflect, a pavilion for music. We put in a new playground, a basketball court, streetscape. So to your point, the raised traffic table, which allows us, one, to slow down traffic a bit, but also to provide a space for our weekly farmers market. And what the design there was to take it out of the fields, put it onto the street, where folks can have sort of that, you know, street vibe of back and forth between vendors, and just pulling it out of the kind of tucked back in the field and putting it front and center for folks to be able to participate down there. And we had our first one this week, or last week. Our next one is Wednesday, so make sure you come. But it was a hit. It was really well received. People love the vibe. They love the street being closed down. It gives it that real kind of cool feel. Music going on in the pavilion, and of course the water feature, which everyone really loved. And we added renovations to the gardens. We redid the whole community gardenscape over there. We added parking. So it really was a full overhaul of the space. And I think now we're working on the programming piece, which is bringing the market obviously onto the street. And we've added coffee on the plaza, which is every Tuesday morning. And later this month, Stefano will be there, the town manager, so you can come and have a cup of coffee. He said nothing's off limits, so bring your questions and come down and have an informal conversation with Steve. But every Tuesday will just kind of be, you can come down, meet your neighbors, have coffee with a friend. We have games and magazines and newspapers down there to play. So just kind of a way to build community in an informal setting, talk to your neighbors, something we don't do enough, I think, in this day and age. Have conversation with folks. I think that's really important. In July, I believe we're having a representative from the Veterans Organization coming.
Yep.
And I forgot what's in August, but there's a third one. So once a month we have a specific topic where someone will come and kind of have a conversation. But every other Tuesday it's much more informal.
And there's already a lot over there. You've got the garden.
The gardens are
and then
full.
153 Spruce.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to talk about there before we move on?
So the we also are doing so the building itself still has its activities that go on all the time, but a lot of what we're trying to do this summer is move things outside because we did this great renovation down there.
Right.
So on Friday nights as well, they're doing homemade on the plaza, which is a great opportunity to come out and do some crafts or be led by an instructor you're doing a paint night, make your own tea night, all kinds of different, just sort of come down and do a craft with a friend, or maybe you come down and do a craft, then you go downtown and grab a coffee or a adult beverage or something to eat afterwards. So we're just trying to kind of tie in both the east side to downtown and make that connection and bring people out in a beautiful summer weather, and when we can be outside in New England, let's do it.
I'm all in favor of that. That I think that's a good neighborhood. I've lived down there between Spruce Street and where I am now. I've been there most of my adult life, and I'm very comfortable down there. I like my
beautiful.
neighbors. And then we were talking about before the cameras started rolling, the sculpture project and everything that's been going on in town. Do you want to talk? What do you want to talk about?
I could talk about that. The sculpture committee has been around for a very long time. Just last week, they installed their third and final sculpture, the Emily Neville Cheney sculpture. It was a beautiful night. It was a beautiful ceremony. Years of work culminated into this last installation. It was a very rewarding experience, I think, for the committee. Lynn Satilli is who I worked with, Moore and Tana Parcelletti, partnering with them because their objective was to raise the funds, commission the work, and then gift it to the town so that it is in a public space and is available and accessible to everybody. And more importantly to them is to be able to preserve the history of certain people that have contributed to the community in a way. And we're very, from the town's perspective, very grateful to the years of work, the hours they've put into it, the money they've raised, and the gift itself, that is for everybody in this town. Public art is very important to us. It is also part of our vision for our parks. If you go back to like the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s, there was very little public art in the community. Right around during COVID is when we started to really beef up our commitment to public art, really through murals, and you saw this growth of murals in public spaces happening all over town, at Leisure Labs, at Charter Oak, and we're working with a local artist right now, commissioned 2 murals down at Charter Oak Park. So the connection between the Oak and Charter Oak, you go under the I-384 on-ramp and off-ramps. So you go under it to get to each side of the park, and there's walls under that walkway. And we had this, one of our local artists, we've commissioned 2 pieces, and he kind of just was creative and said, you know what? I don't want to tell. I'm going to tell everyone, but I won't tell everyone. But he'll be down there throughout the summer working on these murals. So as interesting it is to go and see them, it's even sometimes more interesting to see the artist in action creating them. So his name is Nate Hansen, and if you go, I think that's Waddell. Is that Waddell Road going towards? It turns into Woodbridge. There's that little convenience store on the corner there. That has a mural of the flowers.
Mural,
that's him. He did that.
That's a beautiful work of art.
And he has been, working with us for a long. He worked with us way back at the Eastside Neighborhood Resource Center when it first opened, when we used to run art shows for local artists, and he was one of our local artists. And if you were a local artist in the art show, then you provided the artwork for the cover of Better Manchester magazine. So he has a couple covers he did as well too. So we're really proud to be able to have him, someone local, contributing.
That's right at the intersection of Broad and Hilliard and.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Just so you know that I do really.
Nate
I like
Hansen.
that one.
Yeah, Chris really, I think, under his leadership, he really has been very intentional about bringing art and beautifying art in our public spaces. When we do a renovation project, or when we do a new park over, or any kind of something where it's time to kind of reevaluate a building or a facility, art is always a big part of what we do. Whether it's through displays like the Sports Hall of Fame, which we brought into a building. It's a museum type thing, but it's all artwork put through there, murals in our facilities, the way we put our products out. It's a big part of the creativity and the beauty of it is a big part of what Chris has brought in his leadership, which I think has only been a value add for everything that we've done. We actually have at the end of this month another dedication for a mural we put into the Union Pond Park, a big heron sculpture that was done by a local artist, Amy Deming, in honor of her father, Jay Howard. She built it with her students at Bristol Tech. They welded a whole huge heron sculpture taking flight. So get down there and check that out too. And
beautiful.
We do a dedication at the end of the month.
And the funny thing about it is, when I first came on as director, that was the first project we did. Was their family had some money that they wanted to create a fitness type of space at Union Pond or somewhere. We chose Union Pond Park because it has this, what better place than a waterfront place to go and work out on, right? That's free and accessible to everybody. But we had built a accessible trail for the blind there back when we built that park in the 90s. It just never got used, and there were these stations that had Braille, and there were points of interest there, but it just never got used. So we wanted to repurpose the park 30 years later or whatever, and we thought this is a great spot because there's a stone dust trail that is circular, which is a nice walking path. Let's build the stations, fit stations. And then you can walk around the path, and it just becomes this sort of beautiful waterfront park that also you can get healthy and well there.
Work out on.
Wow.
Yeah. So the point is, when they came to us, and Amy was probably in school then, becoming an artist, or had finished, and she had said, we want to, at some point, I'd like to do a sculpture for the park for my dad, for his park here. But 10 years later, we didn't hear from her, so we just figured it fell. And last year, we get a phone call, and literally was, the sculpture's done. We're like, what? Oh, that's right. 10 years ago, we had a conversation, and 10 years later. But it's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
And you got to go see it. There is going to be a ceremony.
June 26th.
June 26th, thank you.
We'll get
That
the
is
word out.
open to the public, although it won't be widely promoted. It's important that we get the. No, you can promote it, but it's something that is short and quick, and is important to recognize the artist and to give the family an opportunity to come down and to recognize them. And anyone from the community is welcome. But it's a quick, short, just dedication of the statue. It's not. There's no big other event associated with it. It's just singular.
I went to school with Josh, but here's a piece of trivia you may not know. When I lived on Steep Hollow Lane, I went to a summer camp out in Ellington on Crystal Lake, and Jay was one of the counselors.
Oh, really?
So we rode the bus out with him, and we spent a couple of nights out
Yeah.
there. And so that was my introduction to the Howright family.
Oh, nice.
And it's just the good memories. So
Yeah.
when we're talking about it now, I'm very happy to see, because I saw his commitment at an early age.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. Yeah. He was, he served on the Park and Rec Commission, and he was just passionate about parks and trails and the outdoors. Just an enthusiast and supporter of that. So he was a good guy.
I was not an easy child, and he was very good.
Yeah.
And I'd like to move a little bit of a segue here. We're talking about art and every downtown. Art is very important in downtown, but this is Pride Month too, and I think we should talk a little bit about what the community is doing for Pride Month.
Yeah. One of our directors, Jesse Muniz Poland, has been, a proponent of getting something done. She's been working hard, and so we're partnering with her and another organization to run a First Pride. Now, we have, as a department, done Pride theme events like Market Night will be a Pride theme. But we haven't, as a department or as a town, run a community event in conjunction with June and Pride Month. Jessie will be piloting this at Northwest Park in partnership with us, but she has really taken the lead on this with her and her organizations to bring resources and family activities to the Pride initial celebration this year at Northwest Park. It's this Saturday at Northwest Park, and then Sunday I think is a second half, but it's at I'm trying to think of the church. Can't remember.
Is it the Lutheran Church? Okay, because they posted something
Then
on social media.
it must have been that. Where was I going with that?
It's our first year, yeah.
But the conversations with Jesse, because this was really sort of quick and last minute, and as programmers, we plan and program months in advance. So often we get groups that say, "Hey, we want to do this. Will you partner with us?" Before, after all this has been put out. We don't really like to do that, but every once in a while, if it's important enough, we're going to partner with them and provide resources and give them space and make it happen. So that's what it was. Jesse's like, "I need help. Here are resources. We're going to partner with you, and next year, we're going to be part of the organization and planning with you, and look at the best location for it, more centrally located for everyone in the community, and what can we do more." And so we'll be better planned and better prepared for it next year. But this year, she's done a really great job getting this together for this Saturday at Northwest Park. There's a lot of things going on this weekend too.
I was just going to segue into that. We were going to talk a little bit about Workspace. Has got a lot going on this weekend.
Yep.
Either one of you two want to talk about that, or?
Well, I mean, I can look.
She's got the fixery going on, and puppy yoga, adopt a puppy yoga.
Yes. I'm looking at so. If you have a Manchester Now magazine, you can go to this nifty chronological order catalog that will tell you everything that's going on every day in town, especially event-wise. But this weekend, and one thing I also want to mention too, the market, which is this Wednesday, tomorrow night, 4:30 to 7, down on Spruce Street. You can't miss it. It is an experience now, especially with the new plaza. But we've got free yoga on the plaza too. So even if you don't want to come to the market and you're a yoga person, go to the market. There's a whole free class of yoga down there every Wednesday night, so it's worth it to just show up. On the 11th is date night downtown. Well, there's more, but this weekend is the
Art in the Park.
Art in the Park on Sunday.
There's an art
Center
stroll
Memorial.
on Saturday, right?
Art stroll on Saturday. That I'm not.
There's also a Families in Motion 250, which will take place at Center Springs Park.
Okay.
And the idea is kind of wrapping in with the 250th, celebration of our country's birth. But they want to get 250 laps of Center Springs Park. So there'll be fun and games and activities and moon bounces and
Oh, really?
food vendor. Oh yeah, it's going to be a whole great day. So come down to Center Springs Park, do the loop. You can check out the new lighting project we have going on down there.
That's amazing, all the
new
lighting.
connection points
Yeah.
into that park. Our field services division has done a lot of work clearing trees and improving sight lines and making connections up to Town Hall. So there's a lot going on down there.
At Center
At
Springs.
Center Springs.
We
yeah.
didn't even talk really about the parks and the trails.
No.
And we still don't have, we're not going there yet.
You can invite us back for another one.
Yeah, that's what I said, anytime you want, because
Well,
there's just so much.
let's talk about Center Springs because it's an
Okay.
important project.
It
You know,
is.
we had got a grant right when I started, maybe 8-9 years ago, from the state, based on a walking tour that we did with residents through the park to say, you know, as we walk through the park at certain points of interest, what do you see here for the community? What do you see? What do you want? The most important things that came back were, we never knew this park was here. I mean, we've all heard that before. And it's because we lacked, you know, very public, obvious entrances. And so most of the money over the past years has gone to building these new entrances into the park. So the one at the corner of Bigelow and Main
Yeah.
with the sculpted trees. And then the one over on Broad Street that's going to have a
Arch,
connection to
yeah.
the redevelopment of the parkade. I mean,
Yeah.
that was really why it was put there. That was the first one that went there. And you know the time it's taken for us to get to where we get for the parkade, but now we're here, right?
Yeah, we
so
know
that
that.
entrance is going to become significant once that development is done, and that connection, and the trails, and the brook that's going to go along there. And then finally, Kathy had mentioned the one on Trotter Street, which is a beautiful overlook. And then we have a trail, a switchback trail system that goes down and will connect you to the trail system, the 1 mile loop within the park. In addition to that, the remainder of the funding has been used to light up the entire park and the bridge.
Wow.
And so, and the reason we weren't going to light the whole park up, we were just going to light from Bigelow to Broad, because it was a strong connection between Main and Broad Street, you know, for people riding or moving instead of having to go all the way out up Broad Center. Now we've got this cool connection
Yep.
through a wooded area. But we had enough funding to light the whole park up. So we will have a lighting ceremony for the park at some point this summer to bring notice to the new overlook and to the lighting within the park. And we really, you know, I think the difficult thing is going to be is like, where's the best place to be when we light the park up? We have no idea, right? So you're just going to have to guess where you want to be and just go.
But this lighting project's cool. Sorry, our public works director told us that like the lights come on as you walk by, but then they dim down if you're not in front of them, so you're not disturbing wildlife and residents
Oh,
that
wow.
live
Yeah.
nearby. So it'll kind of brighten as you walk, and then as someone, you know, kind of walks away, the lights sort of dim back down. So it's always lit, but it's not always super bright. So we're thoughtful again about residents that live nearby
Yeah.
and wildlife that could be affected by it. So it's really cool modern way of
Yeah.
lighting up a new park. And
I mean,
making
just
it
imagine
safe and
walking
accessible
through
and-
the park at night. And don't forget the lighted fountains.
Yeah,
that
I was
are-
just going to ask
So you've
about
got the
that.
bridge and the lights and the fountain. I mean, it's going to be a beautiful place to be after dark.
In Manchester, one of the things that's impossible to not notice now is the bike paths. And I walk a lot, and I can go from my house to Stop and Shop pretty much any time of the day or evening, and it's lit. And if the fountains are on, it's not just lit, it's really beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
it's beautiful. Yeah.
It's romantic.
Yeah.
It's family friendly. There's fish in the pond.
Yep.
You may have seen me down there with my rod and
I'm
reel. So it's all coming together kind of the way we were told it would.
Yes.
Walkable. Because when I was a kid, that's how we got around.
Yeah.
My bike and
Yep.
my feet. My father didn't say, "Come on, I'll take you down to pay your paper bill." He said, "Get on your bike," and it was on where Electrolux is, or
Yep.
used to be where the Coach's Corner and all that. And he'd say, while you're there, pick something up at the library, and your mother needs something from Mary Matt's, you know? And I took my book bag and I went down there, and I didn't dare ask for the $5 that I spent for my mother because, you know, that just wasn't, but it was on my bike, and my friends went with me.
Yeah.
And we spent money. We went to the corner store, Corner Memorial. So this is a real thing that we're doing here. And I think the wider community needs to know about it too, not just the people in Manchester.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing, what you're doing is art in a lifestyle sense. And I'm just really excited. I didn't mean to take over the conversation.
No,
I'm not supposed to.
No, but you were saying things too that are very reminiscent of like my experiences downtown as a kid. I mean, everyone had bikes, everyone rode bikes, and we would plan, you know, the summer, we would all, you know, we'd have supervised playgrounds, and then during lunchtime we'd get on our bikes and ride down to Main
Movies
Street.
in the park, movies at Mount Nebo,
Yeah.
concerts in the park.
Yeah.
We got on our bikes. My father taped a flashlight onto the handlebars of my truck. That's what he did.
Yeah.
And he said, now you can go.
Yep.
And we did. And we were allowed to stay out till 10 o'clock,
Yeah.
which, you know, things were a little different back then. 10 o'clock was late.
Yep.
But no, 10:15 was late. 10 o'clock was time to be home.
Yeah.
So we're getting, I told you it would go quick.
It went quick.
It
You're right.
went very quick. This was, I'm so happy to have had you two here. This is a very exciting and very informative. Kathy, before you leave, is there anything you'd like to say, something that I didn't get to or we didn't get to
Oh, we'll need
today?
a whole nother show, but
Yeah, we do, and you're welcome anytime. Let me be clear
thanks,
about
Thank
that.
you. And thank you for having us. This was great. I think I just want to encourage people to look at your Manchester now. There's everything to do in Manchester, right? I think we're talking about reminiscing in old times, and I think if you take a minute and look at what's being offered, not just through our department, but in town, there is a lot to do. And I just encourage people to get out and do something. Try something new, something that maybe scares you, something you never tried before. You know, go grab a cup of
Riding a
coffee
bike
on the
scares me
plaza.
now. I'm 67.
Just find something new this summer. Challenge yourself to get out and do something that maybe you've never tried. Try pickleball, or try tent, whatever it is. But get out and try something new. Take advantage of the beautiful parks and even free things that happen in town. And if you don't know where to start, call us in our department and we'll help you.
860-647-3084. Colleen or Alicia will answer the
They will
phone.
answer the phone.
And you'll get
they will
all
dial
the
you in.
information you need.
That's
That's
right.
right.
I want to thank both of you for making this a much needed asset to the town. You did a great thing by coming in and sharing your vision and your work with us. We should be able to get this on the air. It'll be on Thursday. I believe it'll be this Thursday at 11 a.m. and again at 6:30 p.m. on Channel 15. And then after that, it'll go on to a rotation where it's on Channel 15 in all the Cox areas and in Channel 14 in Manchester only. My name is Tom Topping. I'd like to thank my guests once again. And I'd like to thank you for watching. This is All Things Manchester. I will see you next time. Thank you.